Babur conquered India. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi, he crushed Rana Sanga, and after Gagra, the Mughal Empire finally seemed secure. Then, everything changed. In 1530, Babur died, and the empire he had built through blood, strategy, and war passed to his son, Humayun. But ruling an empire was very different from conquering one. Rivals surrounded him. His brothers wanted power, rebellions spread, and somewhere in eastern India, a patient enemy was quietly waiting, watching, learning, growing stronger. His name was Sher Shah Suri, and at a place called Chausa, Humayun would face one of the greatest disasters in Mughal history. When Babur died in 1530, the Mughal Empire looked powerful, but appearances could be dangerously misleading. The empire was still new, still unstable, still vulnerable. Much of northern India had only recently accepted Mughal rule. Old enemies remained alive. Afghan resistance had not disappeared. Rajput power still lingered. And perhaps, worst of all, Humayun inherited problems from inside his own family. Babur had divided important territories among his sons. His brothers controlled major regions. Kamran Mirza held Kabul and Punjab. Askari Mirza controlled key territories. Hindal Mirza carried his own ambitions. Instead of one united empire, Humayun ruled something fragile, something divided, something dangerously easy to weaken. Yet, despite these warning signs, Humayun remained optimistic. He believed the empire could be managed, that threats could wait. But history was already moving against him. Far to the east, another man was quietly building power. His name was Farid Khan, but history would remember him by another name, Sher Khan, later, Sher Shah Suri. Unlike Humayun, Sher Khan understood struggle. He had risen through hardship, learned politics, studied warfare, and slowly built influence in Bihar. He was patient, calculating, and incredibly dangerous. While Humayun inherited an empire, Sher Khan earned every step of his rise. He strengthened forts, recruited loyal Afghan warriors, expanded influence carefully, never moving too quickly, never exposing weakness. He understood something Humayun failed to see. Empires are strongest when rulers grow comfortable, and comfort was becoming Humayun's greatest weakness. At first, Humayun did not take Sher Khan seriously. To him, this rising Afghan leader looked like a regional problem, temporary, controllable, a threat that could wait, and that mistake would become catastrophic. Instead of crushing Sher Khan early, Humayun became distracted. Political conflicts pulled attention westward. Campaigns against Gujarat consumed time. Valuable months disappeared. While the emperor focused elsewhere, Sher Khan expanded quietly. Forts multiplied. Support increased. Afghan loyalty strengthened. Wealth grew. Influence spread. By the time Humayun looked east again, the threat had changed completely. Sher Khan was no longer a provincial rebel. He was becoming something much worse, a rival, a challenger, a man preparing to take an empire, and Humayun still didn't fully understand the danger. By the late 1530s, Humayun finally moved east, but now, the battlefield belonged to Sher Khan. The Afghan leader controlled strong territory. Local support favored him, and geography itself had become a weapon. Rivers stretched across the land, mud slowed movement, monsoon rains transformed roads into nightmares, supply lines weakened, communications slowed. Yet, Humayun pressed forward, hoping overwhelming force would still secure victory. Instead, he walked into a trap. Sher Khan avoided reckless confrontation. He waited, harassed Mughal movement, studied weaknesses, chose timing carefully. Slowly, the Mughal emperor found himself isolated near Chausa, far from security, surrounded by uncertainty, and trapped beside dangerous rivers. The storm was finally approaching. Night fell over Chausa. Rain clouds gathered above the Mughal camp. Rivers swelled in darkness. Mud covered the ground. But inside the imperial camp, danger still felt distant. Humayun believed Sher Khan remained cautious. That open battle could still be avoided. Many Mughal soldiers relaxed. Fires burned. Guards stood watch. Officers waited for morning. Yet, across the darkness, Sher Khan was already moving, quietly, carefully, patiently. He had studied Mughal weaknesses for months. He understood the terrain, understood the rivers, understood timing, and above all, he understood surprise. While Mughal soldiers rested, Afghan forces prepared for attack. Scouts moved silently through darkness. Orders spread quickly. Warriors gathered. Weapons tightened. Horses prepared. Sher Khan knew something important. If he waited longer, Humayun might recover control. But strike now, strike suddenly, and an empire could collapse overnight. Then, before sunrise on June 26th, 1539, disaster arrived. Sher Khan attacked, fast, aggressive, relentless. Rain and fog covered the battlefield. Visibility collapsed. Mughal forces struggled to organize. Soldiers woke in confusion. Officers shouted desperate commands. Horses panicked. Camps collapsed into chaos. Afghan forces struck with brutal speed. This was not a slow battle. It was shock, panic, confusion. Mughal formations broke apart before they could fully form. Rivers trapped movement. Mud slowed escape. Communication failed. Everywhere. Confusion spread. And Humayun suddenly realized something terrifying. He was losing control. The battle collapsed rapidly. Mughal resistance weakened. Soldiers fled through mud and water. Some drowned trying to escape. Others disappeared beneath the chaos. Imperial command broke apart. Fear spread faster than orders. Sher Khan pressed harder. His Afghan warriors overwhelmed weakened Mughal positions. Victory was suddenly within reach. For Humayun, survival became the only goal. The emperor of the Mughal Empire now fought not for victory, but escape. Surrounded by confusion, Humayun tried reaching safety, but disaster followed him everywhere. Rivers blocked retreat. Enemy pressure intensified. Death felt dangerously close, and for one terrifying moment, the empire Babur built seemed finished. Then came one of the strangest moments in Mughal history. According to tradition, as Humayun struggled to survive near the river, help arrived from an unlikely source, a humble water carrier, known in some accounts as Nizam. He helped the emperor cross dangerous waters, saving his life. A ruler who commanded armies, rescued by an ordinary man. Humayun never forgot it. Some stories even claim he later rewarded the water carrier in extraordinary ways. Whether every detail is true or not, one fact remains undeniable. Without escape, Mughal history may have ended at Chausa. Chausa was more than defeat. It was humiliation. Sher Khan now stood stronger than ever. Soon, he would take a new name, Sher Shah Suri. And Humayun, he had escaped. But the empire was breaking, because 1 year later, disaster would strike again, at Kanauji. Subscribe to Crescent and Steel, and march through history with us.